So as we're getting into the end of the first half of the homeschool year, this is really a good time for us homeschool parents to sit back and reflect on things that went well the first half of the year and things that we will be changing for the second half. The beauty of homeschooling is that we have control over everything. So I actually like to change things up along the way instead of waiting for like a halfway point. But I figured this would be a good time to show you 5 things that I will be changing for the next half of the year. Number 1 is packing way too much into our schedule. This is our weekly homeschool schedule. I do send this blank template editable out for free. If you want to just click the link on my page and you can go put in your email and I'll send it to you. But you can see that our entire days are packed. I found myself starting to double up on subjects just because we happen to have them. So for example, we did win a full year of the Abeka first grade curriculum and I felt like it was free, so we have to use it. And I just tried to pack like everything into every single day and it was way too much. I was also packing in subjects like science and social studies and history and art, and I was trying to do those things every day, especially because we did have the online with the Abeka, but we are going to be stopping that. I'm going to make it a point to separate things out, so maybe we'll make like Tuesday our science day, Wednesday can be social studies, Friday can be art day. The second mistake that I've made that we'll be changing is that we were starting way too early for our family's needs. I really wanted everybody to be in the homeschool room together, ready for our family meeting at 9 a.m. every single morning, and it was just not happening. My kids wake up around 7:30. By the time they do their chores and eat breakfast, it was like 8:30, 8:45, and then I'm rushing them into the homeschool room. And especially now that the weather's getting a lot nicer, I really want to start spending our mornings outside, riding bikes, doing something fun, and then maybe starting school around like the 10:30 area. The third mistake that I have made this first half of the year is choosing to do the MAP test with my 6-year-old. I did document this whole journey. I do strongly stand behind having homeschool kids tested just to see where they're at. However, if you've watched any of my testing videos, you know that I was really displeased with the reporting this year of the MAP results, and I feel like it didn't really give me good insight as a parent. Other than the fact that she did amazing on it, which is great, I really wanted more of a breakdown of the standards. So I will continue to test her. However, we will not be using the MAP test again, at least not through the company that I use this time. The fourth mistake that I made this year is that I did not provide nearly enough structure for my youngest 2 children, my 3-year-old and my 1-year-old, while I'm working with my 6-year-old. I do have it set up to where when I come to the table with my 6-year-old to do our reading lesson, I've got my 3-year-old on the iPad doing her learning activity, and I usually have my 1-year-old either on my lap or coloring or basically just trying to stay busy. Even having my 3-year-old on the iPad, she can only focus on that for so long. So my reading lesson with my 6-year-old was taking longer than I feel like it probably should have. And by that point, my 3-year-old and 1-year-old are wreaking havoc. And it was putting a lot of stress on me and my 6-year-old when we're trying to do learning. So moving forward, I kind of have this vision of like when I was a first grade teacher, I had stations and centers set up while I'm working with a group at the table. The rest of my class is at their designated station, and then they were rotating so they're not just getting bored. So I thought maybe I'll do like a coloring area for my youngest 2, and then when the timer goes off, they can move to the library and read books. And then this isn't a perfect world, we'll see. And the fifth and final thing that I would say is not so much of a mistake as much as it is just something that I'm reflecting on is my choice to do Math UC for our math curriculum this year. I know this may come as a shock. It is a curriculum that I do still stand behind. However, I'm not quite sure that it is the best fit for my daughter and the way that she learns. I also regret that I did start her in the alpha level, even though she was testing kind of in between alpha and the beta level. I feel like the alpha level is way too simple, and as interactive as it is with the blocks and the different ways of learning with Math UC, we're kind of bored. I'm also worried that maybe I'm letting some outside influences get to me because we did meet up with a friend of ours who has homeschooled all of her children, and she said that she did Math UC for all of her children and none of them are strong in math. And so even though I shouldn't let that get to me because Math UC has, produced engineers and other things, it's something that's kind of in the back of my mind, and I'm trying to not let it affect me, but it is. We are not leaving Math UC. I have already spent the money for the year. However, I do think I'm going to move her ahead a little bit in the curriculum and just pray that I have some clarity and guidance as if this is the one we should be sticking with. Overall, I feel like honestly the first half of the year went as smoothly as it could, and I feel like I would not be a good homeschooling parent if I didn't sit back and reflect and think about all the things that I could have done better, things that we will change for the future. And that's the beauty of homeschooling. We can keep evolving, we can keep changing things, and we don't have to get anybody's permission to do so.